What's up, comic book fans, and welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me, and today we got The Flash, issue number 28, and another part of DCKO, and in fact, another one of the DCKO All Fight Month fights, as this one sees The Flash, the Silver Age Jay Garrick version, against Green Lantern Guy Gardner. And ladies and gentlemen, these All Fight Month fights have been spectacular. And this one does not disappoint. I'm not gonna lie to you. As a Flash comic, I thought this thing was gonna be all squeaky clean. But this thing is brutal. This fight is a war, ladies and gentlemen. And in case you missed where we left off with the Flash series, I'll go ahead and I'll post the link to that at the top of the screen so you can catch up with that, as well as the rest of the DCKO playlist, because this one kind of crosses a couple of different sides of the story with the All Fight Month tournament fights, as well as the Wally West and Impulse Point storyline. So ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are ready to find out who wins this absolutely brutal battle between the Flash and the Green Lantern, and you want to find out what happens next with Impulse, because last we know, the Legion of Darkseid went back into the past and might have taken away his powers. So Wally West was left to run and have to figure out how to save his young friend. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready to find out how all of this comes to a head, then you guys know what time it is. Let's get it. So this issue kicks off with Wally West, who is the title character of this series. But it kicks off with him running through the Speed Force, holding Bart Allen, trying to save him. As he thinks to himself, my name is Wally West. I'm running through time again. I'm running out of time yet again. Bart Allen sped into a burning time stream infected with Omega energy in order to try and defeat Darkseid in our recent past. He did this, of course, without a second thought. Did I mention Bart goes by the name Impulse? Darkseid nearly killed us both, so we fled back. That's when the Legion of Darkseid almost punched our ticket with the help of a Max Mercury from the late 19th century. But with his mind poisoned and converted by Omega, I think. The actual Legion of superheroes are missing and or dead. All that's left is their evil mirror perversions hell-bent on killing the Speed Force and supplanting it with something called Omega Speed. Whatever this Legion's done now has robbed Bart of all his power. So here I am racing back into the future with him helpless in my arms, to a very specific moment. A moment that, if altered, will have massive consequences for Bart, for the Speed Force, for everything. The night his grandfather, Barry Allen, became the Flash. As we now pick up in Central City, and he thinks to himself, I had to carry him powerless through time itself. Even within the protection of my aura, he'll be disoriented. I have to make sure he doesn't go into shock. And he sits him down on a bench and tries to wake him up. Bart, come on, talk to me. But Bart's out of it right now. He's not waking up. And while he thinks to himself, I need to get him help. But from where? I've got exactly 15 minutes before the Legion of Darkseid destroys Barry's life and legacy. I know every detail of what happened on this night. I was obsessed with the Flash long before I became the Flash. Speaking of which, why do I still have my powers if Bart's are gone? My destiny is as tied up with Barry's as Bart's is. If not by blood, surely through everything else. I've always in some way been in Barry's shadow. Without Barry, there's no me, right? Barry's the key to everything. Bart's life, my life. There's only one Flash who stands apart from this all. And right now, he's back in the present, fighting to the death against every other hero left in the Justice League. As we then switch over to that version of the Flash, Jay Garrick, and he thinks to himself, my name is Jay Garrick. I'm still the Flash, and I'm angry. And then we see his opponent for this evening, Guy Gardner, as he thinks to himself, my name is Guy Gardner. I'm a Green Lantern, the Green Lantern in my opinion, and I'm pretty pissed off. So before this fight kicks off, we see that This first arena is an old lab of Jay Garrick's, which he tells Guy Gardner as he also tells him that this is where I became what I am. This is the location that the Heart of Apocalypse is chosen for our first round. And right on cue, the Heart of Apocalypse comes in and narrates the fellas, tells them where we are. Jay Garrick, Guy Gardner. To advance, you will compete in a game of power. The champion must score 2 rounds out of 3. Choose your forms in later rounds to ensure victory. The only way forward is to fight. And now it's about to go down as these two heroes go face to face with each other. And Flash thinks to himself, Guy might be tough. As Guy Gardner thinks to himself, this has-been should be cake. And Guy Gardner starts off taunting the old speedster. Well, old timer, how you feeling about all of this? And Garrick responds, frankly exhausted. As Guy Gardner is thinking war after war, but Garrick is thinking crisis after crisis. And just as Guy Gardner gets ready to throw the opening blow, we see Jay Garrick thinking to himself, because, you know, he can move pretty quick, so he can get a lot of thinking he had done in that time. But he thinks that I've got decades on Guy, decades of fighting, decades of loss. I bet that's why the heart placed us here, at the beginning of it all, like it never happened, like I never mattered. It's trying to get under my skin. But here's the benefit of being a Flash. When you can run through 10,000 scenarios in a nanosecond, evil is easy to outwit. As we see that he tries to get Jay Garrick to hold on for a minute, he puts up the stop sign. He puts up the halt sign. He's like, Guy, wait. And now Guy Gardner is like, look, Jay, I haven't gotten all day here. And that's when Jay Garrick tries to do a little outsmarting of Guy, which isn't the hardest thing in the world to do. Let's just be honest. But Jay Garrick tells him, he says, the heart said a game. And Guy's like, yeah, so? Well, I know what's at stake, Jay Garrick tells him. But let's be smart about this. We have to play by the heart's rules, but we don't have to give it our souls. Here, me and the other research students used to play this when we were in a bind, stuck. And Guy's like, wait, checkers? And Jay says, yeah, checkers. And Guy's like, oh, you gotta be shitting me. There's no way the Heart of Apocalypse will let us do this. And Jay's like, well, I don't see it stopping us, do you? So they start playing checkers, and obviously Guy Gardner has no clue how to play. Because Jay's like, you can't move there. And then he tries another move, and Jay's like, you can't move there either. For God's sake, Guy, don't you know how to play checkers? And then Guy Gardner throws a little tantrum and knocks the checkerboard off the table. So sue me if I don't know how to play your stupid old man game. But Jay's like, Gardner, show some respect for someone who's been at it since before you were born. Not every fight has to be to the death. And now Guy's like, what world are you living in? Haven't you been paying attention? You don't play mumbledy peg with gangsters. Mumbledy peg? And bank robbers anymore. It's a hard universe out there. Don't you get it? Just do the world a favor and finally retire. You, Alan, the entire freaking Justice Society. Hell, if Wildcat had known when to call it quits, maybe he'd still be alive. And of course, that pisses Jay off. Retire, huh? And he takes off his metal cap and then he flings that guy, smacking him right in the face. He broke my nose. Grandpa broke my freaking nose. And now Jay starts running circles around him. Sorry if checkers is too slow for you. Why don't we speed things up? But Guy was ready for this and he activates his ring. He's like, nah, how about we just finish it? And he manifests some kind of swirling blade or saw or something like that. And it chops Jay Garrick in half. KO. Jesus, that was a brutal kill from two Justice Leaguers or Justice Society, all of the above. Like, what the hell? They just went there in the Flash comic. Yes, I know, right? But then the Heart of Apocalypse comes back in. Good. Choose your next forms and prepare. And now Jay thinks to himself, as angry as I am, I can't give in to this. I need to remember what I'm really made of. Meanwhile, we see Guy Gardner has taken on another form, and he thinks to himself, I just got stronger. I can feel it. Good. I'm gonna kill this geezer. To hell with green. I'm going red. As he now turns into the Red Lantern with the red anger ring. Oh, look, Guy Gardner says. The original JSA headquarters. Maybe we can play some bridge this round. Or how about some shuffleboard? But Jay's like, careful. Storm's brewing. And Guy Gardner doesn't see him initially. He's like, where you at, old man? And Jay Garrick reveals it to him. I'm all around you, Guy, because I am the Speed Force. And then he starts to zap Guy Gardner from all around, out of sight. And then Jay Garrick thinks to himself, I hit him again and again, even as I now feel the Speed Force in pain, suffering, dying. And Guy Gardner is getting irritated. He's getting zapped all over the place. And he even tries to put up a protective barrier, but it fails. As Speed Force Flash tells him, Red Rage isn't great at defense, Guy. And Jay continues to think, through the Speed Force, I can sense Wally's distress somewhere in the past, but I can't go to him now. I can't forfeit this fight. So instead, I strike that red ring with nearly a century of my own pent-up rage. I overload it, and I blow the little shit to atoms. Boo! K.O. This time the Flash just explodes Guy Gardner. I mean, every piece of him is just red everywhere. Notice the KO in blood. Need I say more? I told y'all, this is brutal for a Flash comic. I did not see this coming. But as Jay starts to remanifest himself, he thinks to himself, air's full of emerald ash. Guy's still green in his soul, not red. He's a good man. Just a young soldier doing his duty like I used to be. I can feel the heart's dark strength surge in me, and it's frightening. I was a good man once. As the Heart of Apocalypse comes back in, prepare for the final round. Choose your forms wisely. But before we get that final round, we switch back over to our regularly scheduled Watchtower interlude. Who threatens us now? Who attacks from the Quantum Quorum? Who are you? Grodd says to Darkseid, to Dark Gold as he's locked into this mental battle with him. I am no one. I am everything, Dark Gold tells him. And Grodd's like, whoever you are no match for my mind. Now you face Gorilla Grodd. And Dark Gold responds, no quorum, only chaos. Time Trapper falls. The World Forager falls. Booster Gold falls. And Grodd's like, you're wrong. I believe Booster remains. I will find him. I will pierce your mind. And I will find him. Hear me, Booster Gold. I will free you from... But Dark Gold responds back. And in fact, I think this is actually Booster Gold responding, showing Grodd what's to become. As he responds, no, you hear me, Grodd. See my time. See your fate. Accept my end. And the feedback freaks Grodd out as he's bleeding from the eyes and the nose. As we even see a shocked Lex Luthor turn back like, Grodd? And you can see the other point of that view of this scene in the Lex Luthor fight against the Demon in Superman 33. But then we pick back up with Guy Gardner as he thinks to himself. And it's now red and green, so he's kind of a little bit of both right now. He's calling on both powers, which is necessary. But he thinks to himself, what Jay said, respecting what came before, he's right. And it's not red or even green. It's not the Lantern Corps at all. What I truly am is a warrior. As we see, Guy Gardner has now chosen his form. No more bellyaching, he thinks. This is what I was built for. Welcome to Voldar, Jay Garrick. You're on my turf now. As we see his true form, which is Voldarian, I believe. The little bit that I know about it is it's like a alien shape-shifting race, warrior race. So it's about to go down. But Jay Garrick now is, as he approaches Guy Gardner, he thinks to himself, it's time to let the anger go. It's time to start at the beginning with my clearest mind, when my sole goal was to wage war against evil and win. As he approaches and he tells Guy Gardner, swell planet, Guy, shame you'll have to die on it, but it's for the greater good. And then he rushes at Guy Gardner carrying a lightning bolt, but the first thing the guy does is shift his arm into a huge mace and block that strike. You don't get it, do you, Garrick? And then he changes the form of his hand into a big old cannon. See, I took your advice. And then he fires at Jay Garrick, who quickly runs out of that jail. And then Jay goes on the attack again and he tries to fling that lightning bolt. Glad to hear somebody did, he shouts out as he hurls that bolt at Guy Gardner. But Guy Gardner just catches it. It's not just me you're up against, he tells Jay. It's the entire lineage of my Valdarian ancestors, an endless army of warriors dating back eons. As he holds Jay Garrick's lightning bolt. It's a physical sword type of thing, not an actual lightning bolt. But then he hurls it right back at Jay. So please. And then he lands flush, stabbing Jay right in the shoulder and pinning him up against some rocks. Then he changes his other hand into a cannon and aims it right at Jay. Have some respect for my elders, he tells Jay. And Jay stops him for just a minute. He tells him, Guy, do me one favor. And Guy's like, no mercy, Garrick. And Jay just smiles and he tells him, don't need it. Just beat the tar out of Darkseid for me, will you? And Guy responds, you got it, pal. And then, boom, fires a shot and it explodes Jay Garrick. K.O. Guy Gardner wins in what was a very brutal and bloody fight between Green Lantern and the Flash. Who'da thunk it? But I'm here for it. KO is everything. KO is the shit. But then we pick back up in Central City with the Wally West storyline. As we see a woman, and I'm sure you guys know who this woman is, but let's just let it play out. But we see a woman on the phone and she's like, yep, engaged. He's a forensic scientist. We met at a crime scene I was reporting on, of all things. Took him a while to ask, but that man is always dragging his feet. He's so sweet, like almost cornball sweet. You'll love him. And she gets a knock on her door while she's on this phone call, so she decides to get rid of the caller. Hold on, someone's here. I'll call you right back tomorrow, she says, as the knock just continues. And of course she's frustrated like anybody would be if they keep banging on their door like they done lost their damn mind. But she's like, all right, hold your horses. And then when she opens it, she's like, this better be, oh my God. And Wally West, still holding Bart Allen, answers, hey, Miss West, Iris West. I've read your work in the paper and we're distant cousins, both of us. No, I can't fake this. There's no time. Iris, listen to me. This boy, I need you to watch over him. And Iris is like, wait, what the hell? Because remember, this is a past version of Iris. She doesn't know who Wally West is yet. But she's like, me? Why? And he tells her, because I'm about to face some very bad people. And he's in no condition to come with me. But then Wally goes over and lays down Bart. And he's like, he just needs some rest. Maybe some food. And Iris is like, excuse me, but who in the hell are you? And Wally just turns around. He's like, I'll be back soon. I promise. Just please trust me. And she's like, you can't just leave him. And Wally West is like, I'm sorry. Barry Allen is in grave danger and I've got to help him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the issue. Did you like how that ended? That was crazy, huh? But of course, I'm sure we know once she heard Barry Allen's name, everything is probably cool because that's who she was talking about on the phone, who she's engaged to. But what did you guys think about this issue? And what are you guys thinking about this DCKO event altogether? These fights have been phenomenal, and I like how they cross it in with the current story as well. But I've been absolutely digging this whole event. I think it's been absolute fire and one of the best events I've seen in a while. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on it. And what's been your favorite part of the event so far? Have you had a favorite battle yet? 2 more fights in the first round, and this round of the tournament at least to go. And I can't wait to see what happens in the next round. It's about to go down. It's already gone down. This thing has been amazing. But like I said, I want to hear all you guys' thoughts and theories down in the comments. Tell me all your craziest theories. I love them. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel and you'd like to support the channel, then you can do so by dropping a like, sharing this video, and subscribing to Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. And you can also hit that hype button. And not only that, but I've also included the link to this comic it'll be in the description. But please feel free to click that link and get a copy of the comic for yourself. But ladies and gentlemen, It's about that time. I'm out. Peace.